Hey, everybody, welcome to the MD Levrone Report, starring IFBB Hall of Famer Kevin Levrone. And we have an excellent guest today. She is one of the greatest bikini pros in the world. Please welcome, originally from Canada, now living in the USA, Lauralie Chapados. Hey, guys.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, welcome to the show, Laura. And also, I want to say thank you. Thank you so much for, I know it's crunch time for you. You have a show coming up this weekend. And finally, Rob, one of my favorites is here, brother. I'm so excited to have you here, Laura. So thank you very much for coming on the MD Levrone Report.
First female guest ever, Kevin.
Yeah, I know, right?
And youngest too, I believe. We haven't had any. She's 25 years old. I don't think we've had anybody that young. We've had much older people for the most part. So wow, yeah, big day.
Laura's definitely a threat coming up for the Olympia title. Definitely, big time. I remember when I first met Laura in person in California. I've seen photos of you before meeting you in person, but when I saw you in person, it was like, wow, definitely impressive, definitely incredible. And your drive and determination and dedication. First of all, I want to ask you the question, what was it that inspired you to get into bikini? What made that decision? What was it?
So honestly, to this day, Kevin, to be completely honest with you, I see it as a life calling because it was just a force that just came out of me. Just an IFBB figure pro one day came up to me at the gym while I was training, and she was like, wow, you have a great structure. Have you ever heard about competing? And I was like, no. And she was like, listen, I see you can, this is the next competition, and in Quebec, where I'm from, it's not really known. And I was just like, I don't know what that is, but if someone can think I can do it, let me give it a try. And I flip a switch and I started just breathing, eating, everything bodybuilding. And I started, going to the gym twice a day and just working on my goals. I didn't know a thing, but I started, reading on bodybuilding.com and all these forums that was out there and learn. And I just kept going. I did one show, I won. I did another show, I won again. And then the first year I went to national, I won first place. And in Canada, you don't, if you win first place in nationals, you don't earn your pro card. You have to win the overall. So I won my overall the first year that I competed. I won in the second season, but the rest is history. I just kept going and going. And to this day, I'm just that was just someone in my route, that happened to be there at the gym the same day. And just was planted seed in my head, and it just grew from there. And, I would never take it back. It's just such a life-changing experience. I was 17 at a time. I just turned 17 years old, and, going to school, just working 2 part-time jobs, and, just living my own little bubble life in Canada. And then I don't know why I got just drawn into it right away, but it was just love at first sight. I fell in love with training first, and then fell in love with dieting, and then read more into it. There was not a lot back then, that we're talking about 2014, 2015. And
I'm curious, Lauralie, how quickly did your body change? Because I remember we had an interview a couple of years ago. You had been a soccer player growing up. You were a very good soccer player, and then your team broke up or something, and that was the end of soccer.
Yes.
What
I have a good memory.
So you were athletic. What were you built like compared to what you're built like now? So how much has your body changed from the time you were a soccer player to, second place at the Olympia and 5-time pro bikini champion?
So funny story. I remember I was always a pretty skinny, girl. I wasn't eating breakfast in the morning. I would just eat maybe a cookie and then half a macaroni salad at lunch. And then my mom would cook dinner, and then that was it. And I was playing soccer. I played soccer for my whole entire life. I was skiing too. I did some jiu-jitsu at one point. I remember going to the gym and asking a girl how I could get rid of the bumps under my hamstring, like basically my
Mhm.
hamstring. She's like, no, it's your hamstring. Like, that's beautiful. It's actually like a muscle. Like, you should work them on. So I remember having a good pair of hamstrings
Hmm.
at the time. So yeah, that's
Wow.
Ron, I would have to say she just has some great genetics. Now, Laura, was your brothers and your family, were they into like sports, or are they like genetically gifted like you are, or you know?
I mean, I don't know what's like really genetically gifted. Like, I don't put on muscle like easily, and I lose muscle quite fast because I'm an
Mhm.
ectomorph.
Okay.
But I want to say that my brothers are like 6'3", like could probably, they were soccer players, like really like way better soccer players than I was.
Mhm.
They train at the gym, they put on muscle quick. Like, I think, we run tall, ectomorphs, but we can eat. That's probably like one
You're
of
about
our
5'8",
better gifts.
how tall are you, Lauralie? 5'8", 5'9"?
I'm at 5'8", solid
Wow.
5'8".
That's very tall for a
You
female
look
human.
you look a lot taller in person, though.
Yeah. Well, the heels, my gosh.
Yes,
Wow.
exactly. You did it.
But I don't think you had heels on when I first met you.
No, but I have those like shoes with like a little platform, so I'm probably like
Oh,
a
okay.
solid
Yeah.
5'9", and I always get that. I always get, oh my God, you're so tall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because bodybuilders tend not to be the tallest people. So
Right.
I agree. It's hard to put on muscle in a long frame.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, definitely see your dedication and your 100% in, with your training, with just being a huge inspiration and such a positive role model to so many of us, male and female. For the younger inspiring girls out there who see you as a role model, who want to follow in your footsteps, what kind of advice would you give to them coming in and wanting to compete in the bikini era?
I think, now if I was talking to my younger self, knowing how the sport has evolved so beautifully, and now it's international, I think that bikini division is a lot more, how can I say, like, precise and the look that they want, but they also have to understand that, like, whatever happens, like the sport, you have to bring your best self to the table and just bet on yourself. So the best
Mhm.
advice I can tell to any girls out there is just shut everything down, everything that they think they know, and just stay in your own lane, work hard, just work hard every day, fall in love with the process. Don't beat yourself up trying to look a certain way, because you're never going to be another person. You're going to be yourself. So make sure that you don't lose track of being your best self every day, and just putting in the work. And you can get inspired by other people. Don't get me wrong. Like, I still get inspired, by different training methods, and like, but I don't get carried away out of my lane. Like, I really stick in my own lane, and do what works for me, what works best for
Mhm.
me. And I've learned it the hard way. Like, I've over dieted. I got injured, all these type of things. But at the end of the day, like, I know that the only thing I can do is just really show up in my best shape on
Mhm.
that day, and just keep going and going. Like, it's a never ending journey, and it's beautiful. And I think that people, sometimes, especially girls, start comparing themselves a lot, and they get lost in that
Yeah.
beautiful endeavor. Like, it's supposed to be such a happy endeavor. Like, you're gonna have your
Right.
bad days, but as long as you're passionate about what you're doing, and like you really put in the work for yourself, like every day in, day out, so there's nothing like it. There's just nothing like it. And I know, Kevin, you can attest to that, 100%. Like, you had your
Yeah.
own methods, and your
Definitely.
own way to make the sport enjoyable for yourself, and that's the key. That's the key of the sport. It's not just about nutrition and just about training. It's a whole environment that you create for yourself, and where you're able to grow and enjoy, and just make it enjoyable. I think that's
Yeah.
my first thing to say to the girl out there: make it enjoyable for yourself.
Yeah. Definitely, Ron. It's like they ask me, all the time, how do you become this, or how do you this? It's like you have to enjoy that journey. Like, we all want to be at the top, but also you can learn so much just from gaining, going there, in those valleys. I told my pec, I learned a lot. You got to trust your decisions. And that's exactly what Laura's talking about. Like, trust your decisions. Like, you can have the greatest coach in the world, Ron, and you can have the greatest nutritional guy or person in the world right there. But ultimately, when you walk out on that stage, like Laura's talking about, you're walking out on that stage by yourself, you're embracing those moments. So it's up to you to feel 100% comfortable, with your decisions. And the only way to do that is really trusting your decisions. So I definitely feel you on that one.
You know what I want to ask you about, Lauralie? Your last pro win, your first 4 pro wins all happened in 1 year. You were dominating. 2018, you basically dominated. She won Toronto Pro, Chicago Pro, Tampa Pro. I'm going to mess this up. Cheney Classic in China? How do you say
You forgot Tampa too.
Oh, Tampa. No, I said Tampa, didn't I? Toronto, Chicago,
you
Tampa,
did?
and then China.
Okay,
Quite a year.
and Sanya, China.
Okay. But the win that I want to ask you about is 2019. You won the Yamamoto Pro Cup in Italy, which was 1 week after the Olympia. And I remember you had you went into that show with, I think it was a real bad back injury. And I can't believe you not only you traveled all the way to Italy, even though you were injured. Not only that, you won the show. So what was that? How did you get hurt? And how did you deal with all that pain and still pull off a win like that?
So 12 days before the Olympia, I strained my back really bad. Like I was, I couldn't pose, couldn't get out of bed. And you know what happens when you get a strain and your body is fighting, especially like that lean and close to a show where like your stress levels are just high. So I became a water balloon. And like in a matter of 1 day, I went from like being ready, like really ready, to like look like I was 12 weeks out, no muscle, just flatten out. It was very, very stressful. And I had to like stop training for a couple of times. I did therapy, like all the back stuff, everything that I could, the newbie, everything to just being able to actually pose on stage. Because I mean, I don't see myself not going to the Olympia, not participating. I just, as I said, like, it was the best that I could present that day, minus everything that happened to me. So I just wanted to, after the Olympia, I was just kind of, feeling a little bit better with my back. I was, still injured, still couldn't train, but I was already like kind of show ready. And I had this opportunity, and the sport gives you opportunities like that are once in a lifetime type of thing. And that was one of them, like when do you get to go to Italy to compete and just enjoy like Venice, and it's an experience. And I really want to do that more now that I compete. Just, like, I mean, Atlanta right now, it's not Italy, but I come here a week before. I'm going to stay until Monday. I want to try like the food. I want to see the culture. I want to get, to different gyms, et cetera, et cetera. So Italy was just a great opportunity. And we did some minute little changes. And I was able to show up a little bit better from the Olympia and won that show.
Wow.
Laura, if you don't mind me asking, can you reiterate a little bit about your back injury? How did that occur?
So the Olympia 2019, I was ready about like really ready, like stage ready, lean at like 9 weeks out from the Olympia. So considering that and me training hard and still training, like I have so much to lose and what's not. I think what happened is that I traveled back to Canada. I was training in, a gym that has AC and everything else. And then I flew back to California to Gold about 2 weeks before the Olympia. So traveling, stress, etc. And the temperature changed. I remember that day, it was so hot. I almost passed out twice. And then I did an hour of posing. And I didn't do my stretches after. Now I know that after, doing posing and just like that back pose, it doesn't look like nothing. It looked like nothing, but it really like, it makes so much pressure on your lower back, especially me. Like I have like, my pelvic is like very like neutral. So every time that I push out this way, like it puts a lot of pressure on my lower back. And that was it. Like the next morning, I think I was just, too dry, and I just, had like a really intense leg workout, right after flying in. I think it's a mix of like all these things, and I just like got a strain in my back, and my nerves were always pinching, and it was just like very, very painful. So
was it like during one set you felt it happen, or was it like later, a couple hours later, you felt your back?
So I felt it when I was doing a hack squat, and then I went and posed for an hour. Like don't pose for an hour, because you get tired and you're already dry, and I posed for an hour, and then I didn't stretch, so it was
Also
on my fragile body.
You were ready 9 weeks out. Had you competed earlier? Is that why you're already in shape?
No, I think we just got myself in shape earlier. James, my coach, really likes that approach. Not anymore, but he really likes, to be ready ahead and then feed into the show. But we just got ready like way, way ahead. Like this time around, like I got ready, I want to say like maybe 10 days ago, like stage ready. And I really like that better because, as I said, I don't hold on to my muscle really easily. So we learn, but definitely that back thing, it's still there. It still comes back sometimes around. I'm just being a lot more careful and aware of when it could trigger that again, and just like do my stretches every time I pose. So yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I was looking at some photos of you. I'm like, I couldn't believe how lean you are right now. I was like, wow, she's really, really lean. You ever get your body fat tested? And if you ever had that tested, what is your body fat like stage ready on stage? Any idea?
So I never in my life, no DEXA scan, no body fat, no nothing. I'm completely clueless of my body fat whatsoever. But I think we've been able to hold on to a better muscular mass, and it's like I'm a different kind of lean because my muscle are still there a lot more than normal. Normally, like I have a very like bubbly muscle, like very kind of like almost like watery looking kind of muscle, and that you have to feed me to be able to see them. But now I'm just kind of lean and holding to some muscle density, just because we were able to keep the food semi high all along the prep and no like crazy cardio. But then 2 weeks ago, we just like 2 hours of cardio, 900 calories, and we just like give it a shot. And my body responded right away. So I think, it's a different strategy that we use this time around, but it worked well. So it's easier now that normally in peak week, like you have to feed me so much to have me look more curvy and bubbly. But now I am not fed a lot and it still works. So
I'm just curious, Lauralie, because bikini, you're not supposed to be totally shredded. Like, if you came on stage with shredded glutes, I think they would mark you down. They wouldn't put you in the first call out. So how do you and James Team Atlas, how do you guys know exactly the condition, where to stop? Like, what's your endpoint before you get too lean?
So I think, first of all, like, I don't think I can be too lean. I have this very like baby looking skin to me. And I'm always, I'm known for being the one that's always not the leanest and that can get away with it. And even though I'm lean, I don't know if it's a skin thing, like if I have a thick skin, but it's just, I always look healthy, I guess. So as far as like, as far as like how we measure the leanness, I want to say my lower back, that's when it comes in. And then make sure that my hamstring, you don't see both of the lines. You just see like the attachment to my, you want to see attachment, but kind of a like semi-separation. But I always, we don't push really the envelope just because I would look like really stringy before looking lean, if that makes sense.
Well, one other thing that has to be said is bikini is the one division where the face really does matter. Like men's bodybuilders, they can look like a troll. They could look like Shrek in the face. As long as the body is what they're looking for, it doesn't even matter. But I'm not sure if it's in the rules of how they judge it, but the most beautiful women tend to, with the best bodies, tend to win in bikini. So when a woman's face gets really lean and drawn, it's not a good look. So I think you guys are better off. You're the prettiest division, obviously, of all the, well, I don't know, wellness is catching up. I like wellness girls too. But,
Oh yeah, they're beautiful.
yeah. But I mean, you keep that youthful, the healthy look to your faces in bikini. And I think that's a big part of why so many young girls are attracted to bikini, because they might see another division where the faces are all dug out and the women, a 25-year-old like you might look like 35 or 40 sometimes, but when they're competing, just because the fat's all sucked out of their face. But bikini appeals to a lot of young girls. I'm sure you have a lot of women contacting you that's the division they really want to get into because it's such a healthy, vibrant look.
Absolutely. I think bikini is obviously a really overall look. Like you want a pretty skin, you want a good presentation, good facials. I think that's my face is really lean right now. And I think it's the leanest I've ever been in my face. But still, like I think it's just important to show like health. And that's what it's about. I think today, to be honest, they would mark you down if they see that kind of, shredness in the face, and it just looks kind of, they really want girls healthy. That's like they've been pushing it a lot. And, the last, I think it's a great representation of that. Mix of beauty and curves and just the right amount of leanness, not, very proportioned, no crazy V tapers or, crazy muscle development either. Just a very streamlined look. Janet represents that beautifully. Obviously, she's like one of the most beautiful human on the planet. And I think that's where they're going, and they've been pretty consistent with it. And that's what I've seen at every pro show. I haven't seen a pro show where a winner was not beautiful and out of place, where it was kind of like, oh, they don't know what they want. No, the judges know what they want and they're looking for right now, and they're really preaching on.
Laura, let me ask you this. I know you talked about the look and everything that they're going for this year. Now, since you turned pro to where the look is now, it has changed somewhat. Do you think it'll change more? Where do you think the industry is going to go like 2 years from now for the bikini competitors? So
I remember being in 2018 and being one of the biggest girls on stage, like muscularity wise. Girls used to be like a lot tinier and more streamlined, I want to say. And then 2019, 2020, I was like, I'm one of the smallest now. So I think muscularly, like you have to hold on to a good like amount of muscle. I really think they stick on the look now. Those tight abs, glutes that are like popping, and then no hamstring lines whatsoever. A little quad sweep is a plus, but not even. Really, like what I see everywhere, to be honest, is proportions. They want, like when you're on the side like this and you're hitting your front pose, they want that shoulder to be kind of equal to your glute.
Right.
That's what I've seen a lot. And then beauty is going to be a thing for sure, because each person, like from every division, especially like the amateur girls, the girls that are winning like universe and what's not, they set the standard. We set the standard. So I really think like, to be honest, like this year was like a proof of we know what we want, and that's where the sport is going to keep on going. And with wellness, it makes the limit, it create that boundary, because before it was bikini and figure, but there's a gray zone right there where it's like, oh, well, if there's a bikini that shows up and it's like she has like a bigger upper body, maybe we can make her win that day because she stands out from the lineup. But not
Mhm.
anymore, because there's like, okay, wellness and figure and bikini, so it
Right.
restricts it. It just closes, the gray zone, and it's a lot more clearer now,
Yeah.
with those requirements from the other categories. That's what I
Yeah.
think.
Wow.
Talking about wellness just for a second, where do you put that? Do you put it as a look between bikini and figure, or a look between figure and women's physique?
So I think it's so unique, and I know exactly why you would think that wellness in women's physique is because of the leg, like the muscle density of the leg is just completely crazy.
Yeah.
I think it's a genetic thing though. I've seen women's physique a lot smaller than the wellness girls.
Yeah.
Wellness girls have the muscle density, but I think it comes from, a lower body dominant, like, genetically wise, like genetically, I can't be a figure. I'm a stick. I can be a figure. Genetically, I can be a wellness because I'm tall. Like I would have to I don't think it's possible for me to be ever a wellness at all.
Okay.
I don't think, because they're already so, it's a weird thing because they're not like striated. It's just so much muscle in the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah. They have, from what I've been trying to figure out the division. I've been to a couple
Yeah,
shows.
I think they're their own division. They're their own species. They're freaking animals. Like literally, like I admire them so much because I know how much work it is, and I've seen Yarishna and baby Barbara, that just won the universe in person, and they're so impressive and so beautiful. But I think you have to have that kind of genetic, shorter, maybe a longer torso with some, so they couldn't, I don't think a wellness could be a woman's physique either,
Right. Right.
because they would have to get that really upper body dominant thing, and it's another craft. I think some of them could push themselves to that point, but
Right.
I think
No,
I think Shanique can pull it off, probably.
oh,
Shanique could pull
definitely.
off a wellness look, probably, because she has the glutes and like that kind of
Those
muscle
quads,
density.
those quads and hams.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. She's an alien. She could do anything.
She is.
Hey, Laura, I don't want to keep you too much longer, but I wanted to ask you this question about, I see that you're out there giving back. You have your company, your training business, and everything that you're doing, giving back, and that's real nice. How do you feel like sharing your experience and changing lives? I see you training people. I see you, giving that knowledge. I mean, how does it make you feel? And like, what made you decide to make that your passion as well?
I honestly never thought I could do that and be kind of a voice of reason for some of those girls, but it's just an unbelievable feeling, and I think the girls that I'm working with don't realize how much I'm getting out of them. Like they think it's all them getting everything, but I'm like, if only you knew how much I learned on myself, how much I learned on the sport, how much like accomplishment it gives to me to see them, training some girls and do a little tweak, and they're in their eyes, you can see like, oh my God, you just changed my life right there. And that used to be me. And when I remember like going to Asia, I think when I went to Asia and I did that seminar for like 3 days, 3 back-to-back days, that's where I was like, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do in my life. Just share whatever I know, because somewhere on this planet, there's somebody that's going to listen to you and just use it and to better themselves at what they already know. And you could be a little sparkle in someone's life, but that sparkle is going to create something so freaking magical. So I'm like, wait, I really have something here. And not only that, like I really love sharing, like genuinely in the bottom of my heart. Like it's just, I just love that. I just love people that are eager to learn and, you know, cherishing what I know, because I don't know much. Like I know what I know, but I'm always learning, and it's just great to have girls around that appreciate that. I appreciate my knowledge. I appreciate the fact that I'm open-minded on the sport, and I'm just not, oh, this is me. Like, this is what I do. No, like I keep, you know, learning from different trainers all the time. Like I'm just a sponge. I'm just a sponge, and I just want to like give it all back, like to everybody.
Yeah.
And you know, you've been to Asia, like people are they so want to learn. And it's just great to see, because there's no ego. They just look at you and they're like, okay, like, what do you know? Like, you have superpowers. Like what is it? So it's great. But anyone that I came along, you know, all my posing clients, like, you know, my posing clients reach out to me. Like, I don't really like put it out there that I do posing clients. I don't put it out there that I train people. They just come to me. So I'm like, okay, you're serious. Like, you come to me for a reason, and I'm going to give you everything that I know, And
That's
you just
awesome.
make the most out
Spread
of it.
that love, man.
Yeah.
Spread that love. Laura, can you tell our listeners and your fans and everyone where they can find you to reach out to you and get some inspiring information from you? Where can they find you out there in the social media world?
So I think the best way to reach out would be my Instagram. So it's my name, Lauralie, LauralieChap. That's my Instagram handle. And then from there, there's like all the links to everything that I do. My YouTube channel is getting better, trying to put more content out there. All the interviews that I've done with MD, and it's all up there too. So I'm trying to be, you know, out there and give it as much as I can for people, because I remember when I first started, there was not a lot. So as much as I can be out there, I give, and I get such a great response from people just supporting me and just supporting the fact that I take time off my day to share. But it's a blessing for me. It's a really, I'm very, very grateful to be able to have such a powerful platform and such a powerful support system. So yes, to everyone who wants to follow me at Lauralie Chap. Yeah.
All right. All right, Kevin, I want to wrap it up.
I mean, Ron, Laura, I want to thank you very much for coming on MD Levrone Report. You definitely have our support 100%. And thank you for shining those sprinkles of love this way, inspiring each and every one of us when we see you, and you just plowing forward no matter what, setting that stage and that bar up high. And looking forward to seeing you on the Olympia stage also coming up real soon. You know, so thank you so much.
Let's get qualified first, and then that's what I say. I have to get qualified first, and then we can talk about it. We'll do another interview after that, or I mean, run interview, hopefully.
Fair enough. Yeah, I don't know if this is going to air before.
We'll have her back once she gets qualified, hopefully. Yeah.
Let's have her back after she becomes the Olympia champion. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's
what I'm talking about.
Yes, that's the goal.
Yeah. Okay.
Definitely.
Well, yeah. I don't know if this is going to air before or after, but good luck this weekend at the Chicago Pro in Atlanta. Maybe you can rack up another year like 2018 and just keep winning every show and winning. Why not? But if you just qualify and sit out the Olympia, that's great too. We'd like to see you go way up at the Olympia this year for sure. So yeah, thank you for everything you do and for inspiring so many women around the world, Lauralie. And Kevin.
Thank you so much for having me. It was great. Always great talking to you guys. Yeah. And congratulations, Kevin, for your show. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Well, we really, you know, it's crunch time for you. And I was telling Ron, I said, Ron, you know, we're blessed and we're really grateful that you've etched out that time to come on, and this means a lot to all of us. So thank you very much.
Anytime.
And,
I appreciate
you. Congratulate you already. Congratulations on your show.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Everybody, thanks for watching this edition of MD Levrone Report with bikini champion Lauralie Chapados. We'll see you next time.